Yeah, maybe we should keep the curtains open from now on.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going. It's going!
We're here. We're doing it. We're doing it live.
We're here. Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Fuck it.
I think we did that at the beginning of the last episode, which I deleted, not on purpose.
It was accidental. Yeah.
My hard drive stopped working. My external
sucks.
hard drive. So there's no episode for last week, but whatever. No one's watching this anyways. So.
Yeah. You know.
Luckily, we're not making money from this.
It's gonna come out years later. Someone's gonna find it.
I'm gonna figure out a way to make it work. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, look at us.
Look at our little wee child selves.
Our youth gone.
Your 80-year-old, you text me or you call me. I don't know what it'll be in the future. Probably just like
I'll ping you
telecommunication.
from my brain.
Or because we'll all be telepath. Yeah, that's right. That's how we're gonna communicate. And you're just gonna be like, Mary, and I'm gonna be like, yes. Because you sound young.
I sound youthful.
You sound youthful. I don't. I'm like, yes.
I'm like, I've been drinking the blood of children for centuries.
Yeah.
So I'm hella young.
That's why you look so vibrant always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I tell you one of my coworkers the other day was like, you look tired.
Oh, that's the worst.
I'm like, why would you say that?
That's the worst because like you already feel
you already know
rough, right? Like you already feel like you didn't sleep enough. Maybe you didn't drink caffeine yet. Maybe you just have like things on your mind.
Yeah.
You just feel like, oh, and then someone comes up to you in that moment of need and they're like
you look tired.
You should get some sleep.
And I was like,
yeah, like, and then like that instantly I'm just like,
yeah, I was like, now I feel 20 times worse. So thanks.
It's not like I could like fall asleep immediately right then and there. Like you look tired. You're right. I need to rush to a bed, get some sleep. Thank you. I didn't know that. I didn't know I was tired until now.
Sorry, I just powered off for a second.
Oh, do you feel better?
Yeah.
You look tired.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Afterschool Special Club podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Yeah, so last week's footage is gone. It's fine. We didn't really talk about anything of importance. Not that we ever do, but...
Yeah, it was just... I mean, every episode's special in its ramblings.
Right.
Last week we rambled about things.
And stuff.
Multiple things.
I also had like a Chad moment because I was doing this.
Yeah.
And I did the like...
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Chadrith.
Yep, Chadreth.
Yeah. I want to name my child Chad. Just like Chadrith, please get in the car. Get in the car, Chadrith. And then other people.
Your neighbors are like,
oh no, she's out. She's outside.
Mary's out.
Gotta get in.
Can't decide if I need the hat or not. I don't know.
We should just keep it there, and then if you.
A break in case of emergency.
Yeah. And you put on the hat, you're like, oh, better. Every time that I get off of work from wearing a hat all day, I have the hat that I'm gonna wear out, ready to go. Like in front of me so that I can do a quick transfer.
Yep.
So nobody can see
Transition.
my hat hair. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too. Somebody the other day, one of my coworkers, a different one, commented, she was like, how many outfits do you have? Because I'm like...
Why are everybody super like, they go up to you, they're like, you look tired. Or you have a lot of outfits.
Yeah. I don't know. People recently have felt the need to talk about my appearance, which I will talk about in a second. Another thing that happened today.
Yeah, it's
but no, I have a coworker who I love her. She was absolutely right because I have a lot of like sweatshirts. Like I have like a branded sweatshirt for work and like you know from when I used to like be in the coolers a lot more and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I have that, and then I have like obviously my coat, like my uniform. Yeah. And then like and I'll change depending on what I'm doing, and then like I have like different work hats. So it's that just like collected over the years. So like
yeah, you're being smart.
Yeah, I will literally do a complete outfit change, like pre-lunch, post-lunch. That's what I told her. So, but yeah, someone also today called and they were upset because we didn't have something they wanted, and they had to speak to the manager.
Of course.
So I pick it up, and it's this guy who I've interacted with before in person, and he remembers me, and that's fine. And so we were talking because he wanted a certain kind of tart. He wanted a Frangipan tart, which we don't make at our location anymore. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I apologize. We don't make this here anymore. So then, and prior to me talking to him, one of my team members picked up. And now we have a new inside joke because I guess like when she told him that, he literally on the phone was like, oh, well, God damn it.
Oh my God.
So that gives you like
how desperate do you have to be
over a fucking tart and
over
like,
a tart,
and that's like that's like the lead up to this. Like so you can already start to imagine this guy,
person, this entity.
So we're talking and I'm telling him like, yeah, blah blah blah. This is why we don't do that anymore. And so I don't even remember how, like, why he said what he said to me. But basically, at like a minute or two into the conversation, he's like, yeah, well, I remember you. You're that, like, he's like, you're that, like, lean, skinny, like, young manager. And I was like,
Whoa.
I was not having it. Like, I've already been, like, up to here with stress for, like, the past however long.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not putting up with this. And so I told him off on the phone. Like, when I came over and I told you I'm feeling ornery, like, I was, like, not in a good customer service place today, which is fine. You don't have to put up with inappropriate comments from people ever.
Absolutely not. You are a person. You are a human being.
Yeah.
And those people that want what they want in that moment and don't even see your humanity, don't care what they say.
Yeah. I think I literally said to him, I was like, I'm sorry, I don't see how this applies to our conversation, and it's not appropriate. And he wouldn't even let me talk. He was like, because then he started backpedaling.
Yeah, because he wasn't expecting you to actually like have like some kind of like, oh no, like you can't treat me like that.
Yeah.
And like he was like, oh wait, I'm used to just having people buckle under me and like yeah.
And so he was like backpedaling, but I wasn't letting him talk. Because I was just like, no, like, it's not appropriate. Because then he was like, oh, like, I didn't mean, you know how men are.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, I didn't mean.
Like, you took it that way, and I'm sorry you took it that way, but that's actually not what I meant.
I almost pulled out the, like, well, it's all about impact versus intent. But I didn't. Because I was like, yeah, he doesn't deserve my time of day.
No.
So I was like, that was pretty irritating. And, like, it was funny because I got off the phone with him eventually. And there were other people in the room, and they were like, damn. And I was like, yeah, fuck that shit. Like, I'm not putting up with that.
No, you shouldn't have to. I think, especially, like, during the pandemic, and just, like, even after the pandemic, people, it's amazing how much when you walk through that door, or, like, as a customer, I'm talking about as a customer, not as a team member.
Yeah.
Right? And some customers are really great, and they're really nice, and they're kind, and they're, like, wonderful to you, and they thank you, and I really appreciate them for that.
Yeah.
But then other, we work in a bakery, so a lot of people like specific things in specific ways.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of the crabbier team customers, I would say. And it's amazing how when they walk through those doors, they forget that you're human.
Yeah.
You're a human being.
And there's like all sense of like manners. And it's just funny because it's like I'm providing you like with a service that you're here to do because you're either too fucking lazy to make something yourself or you can't do it yourself. So it's like I'm providing you a service and like you have the audacity to like make inappropriate comments and be extremely rude to me when I try to tell you that I don't appreciate it and I'm actually like I don't want to say offended, but it's just like it wasn't like there's no time and place to comment on a person's body.
No.
Especially a stranger. It doesn't matter who you are, like it's just not appropriate. Oh, and I remember it was because he was like upset because he's like, I was like, well, you can special order them and we'll make it for you. Yeah. But he was like, well, I buy them to indulge. Like you can't plan indulgence. And I was like, what a freak conversation am I having right now? And then he was like, that's why, because he was like, but you understand, right? Because you're like young, lean. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking shoot myself.
He's like almost just unbagging all of his stuff onto you. He's like, that's what he was doing. He was like, he was reflecting everything, like his anger, his pent up anger, his frustrations, his like needs and wants onto you. And like in a way that was very inappropriate. I'm sorry that you had to hear him.
He did a similar thing when I talked to him in person too. He like, because when we were talking in person months ago, I remember it's all coming back to me.
I got vision.
I know that's a Raven moment. Except I was seeing the past, not the future.
We can have a whole conversation about That's Raven and how pointless that show was because every premonition she did the exact thing. Right. Anyway, go on.
Because he made those same comments and like, he also made backhanded comments to me at that time too because he was like, one of the ones that I remember very specifically because it's one of the things that really like grates on me when people say this is he made some comment about how I was, like, really young to be a manager, which I fucking hate, because, I mean, like, I'm 27, by the way, so, like, I'm not that young. Yeah. But, again, it's, like, people, like, people's perception, and, like, they, it's, like, you're expected, like, oh, like, an older person is a manager, because older people are more responsible, they have experience, and I'm like, not necessarily,
not necessarily.
I'm like, I earned this job through merit, that's why I have it, so, like.
Well, also, it's, like, let me guess, like, guess his age. Like, if you had to guess his age, like, what age would you say he was?
Like mid to late 40s.
He's obviously very insecure.
Yeah. Like, clearly.
He's a very insecure man. He's, like, talking about like youth and like all this. He probably is projecting.
He probably missed out on his fucking youth.
He's probably he's indulging.
He's in my company. In my company. I don't want this.
He's indulging and like unloading on you.
Yeah.
And like I think in the customer service like place where we're at, especially because of this pandemic, especially because if now you're reading the articles about the crisis that is happening with hiring, nobody can get anybody in.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are fed up.
Yeah.
With like how they're treated and how they're not even treated as human beings.
Yeah.
And they're hiring their standards for themselves.
Which is good.
Which is fantastic. And like if you have an option to do anything but customer service, do that.
Do it.
Do it. Because I think that people expect a certain amount of customer service, right?
Yeah.
Like they expect like, you to be nice and kind and happy and, whatever.
Right.
To help them with what they need. I understand that aspect. But if you live in the world and you see the state of the world that everything's in right now, and you expect the same level of customer service there was 50 years ago, when you could make enough money to live off of from that job, and now you have to work 3 or 4 of these jobs in order to make it through paycheck to paycheck, it's like, how are your expectations of me are just
outlandish.
No,
They're like
outlandish.
over there somewhere.
They're inhuman.
Yeah.
You're treating me inhumanely because your expectations are inhuman.
Yeah.
And you do not,
all of those, I'm seeing so many of those posts on Twitter that are restaurants and like chains and like places that are like, oh, we're closed because all of our employees quit, or like we can't hire anyone. I'm like, good, you fucking deserve it.
Absolutely.
If you can't hire, it's because people are like, you're not treating me fairly, then fucking good, because
absolutely,
you don't deserve to have employees if you're not going to treat them well and pay them well. So sorry, I had to get that out there.
I'm glad we talked about it.
There's a funny silver lining. So there were other people in the room when I got off the phone, and I like hung up, and then I was like silent for a couple minutes, and then one of the other managers was like, because he obviously heard me make the comment about like my body type. He was like, so can I start calling you Slender Man now? And I was like, please, it would make me feel so much better about this fucking situation.
So tall.
Yeah, I know, I'm not tall. If I was this weight, but I was like 8 feet taller, I would be Slender Man.
I mean, I couldn't sit next to you because my aversion and fear to tall people. Usually tall people.
Oh no! Oh my god.
Lost forever.
That was in the last episode. You'll never see it. Oh my god. Yeah, because we did a bit about tall people, and I edited that bit really well too. And I was so fucking
did
mad.
you put like Slender Man in there?
Yeah, I did like cuts and stuff. Oh my god.
That's great.
Well.
Oh well. We'll just create more wonderful moments. Talking about shitty customers. Also,
don't touch the table.
Yes.
I caught myself a few minutes ago touching the table, and so.
Yes, as you know now, if you've watched, I don't know, ones before any of this before this episode, we have shook this table to where the camera was shaking. So I apologize for the vertigo or the motion sickness that you would have gotten.
Woo! Yeah. I mean, that was one thing that got cut from the last episode. Now that the footage is gone, it was I kicked the table at one point. Oh, but
that kind of adds to it. Like when you're kicking it and you're like,
because we were talking about something
important,
something with gravitas,
with emotion,
and
feelings,
grit. None of those things. But
we're talking about nothing.
Everything and nothing
at once.
And I like kicked the table with my foot because I was like so into it, and then I was like, whoa.
And the camera was like,
yeah. Even now it just shook a little bit because beer is the only exception to touching the table.
Yes, that is true. No, I'm glad you brought that up because I think that it's refreshing to hear other people's stories about like the interactions that they have in these types of jobs.
Right.
Because I mean, there are things I tried looking up, just podcasts about retail therapy, I guess. Mm-hmm. And just like listening to that helps, I think. And like,
yeah, 'cause you're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. And I think the kind of corporations and businesses that instill this type of drive into their employees and treat them unfairly, they almost make them like, well, you're replaceable. Yeah. We could just replace you in a second. You're just replaceable. But so it's really nice to hear like other people's thoughts and ideas because it individualizes them. Right. And it makes them feel like special and heard And that's important.
Yeah.
Because I think we have to deal with so much mentally and physically and emotionally that people don't realize. Like or they're like, well, just get a better job. And it's like,
ooh, that's the worst.
Or it's like, oh, you should have went to college. You should have got a better job.
I did. I have a master's degree.
Yes. But like, I didn't finish my degree.
And it's fine, but like, I hate when people say that shit.
Because because like I said, I think earlier off camera, I was talking about blinders, and people just have blinders on their life. And they don't want to actually introduce conversations that either make them uncomfortable or they're not used to.
Yep.
Or they just don't experience it. So like,
right.
They don't really understand. And I think it's really important because we actually, in our jobs, we can't really make them understand.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have to be this fake, put on this air, right? That we're there to help them and all that kind of stuff. So it's hard for us to do that in our jobs. So outside of our jobs, there's a lot of things that we have to do in order to cope with being that person in that position. Yeah. And it's a position of like people being in power over you. Yeah. Constantly. 8 hours a day, 40, I was about to say 8 hours a day. 40 hours a week, like 5 days a week, right? So more than that, obviously.
Yeah, I was going to say more right
than
now.
That. But yeah, I'm glad you talked about it. I'm glad you brought it up because it's definitely a piece that people miss if they've never experienced it. And I've had a lot of people in my life talk to me about, oh, I worked retail once in high school. And it's like, no.
It also, it made me feel really sympathetic towards women. Because I was, like, really heated after that. And I was like, but, like, women get unwarranted, like, uninvited comments about their appearance all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like...
Never ends.
Because I was like sitting in my Lyft on the way home from work thinking about that. I was like... And then I was like, men really are way more dramatic than women. And I was like, why is that? And I was like, oh, well, because I feel like because men, like, don't have to go through so much. They're just, like, they don't know how to react to anything. But it's, like, I feel like women can be more poised because it's, like, you have more of those, like, those kinds of, like, unwarranted interactions with other people. And it's, like, unfortunately kind of just, like, a part of life that you learn to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an annoyance, but it's like one of those things that's like, it's just inherent. Like, you just expect it. Like, the expectation is there. Like, it does make you feel uncomfortable every time it's done. Right. Like, at this point in my life, like, it does still make me uncomfortable, but it's also like, okay, that's what I expected from you. Right. You gave into the expectation.
It's awful.
Which I don't say that about, like, I think there are a lot of good men that I've met.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, like, you're a good man, and you really are. And there's so many other good men that I've met and I've talked to every day, which they kind of make me think the opposite. They're like, oh, okay, they're great, Yeah. I don't expect that kind of treatment from them because they respect me as a human being. Right. But there are times where, like, strangers or people have, like, started conversations or, like, I can tell that it's going in that direction. I feel that little piece of uncomfortability start to bubble up inside of me. And then my shield goes up because every woman and probably has a shield that goes up. Yeah. I'm just like, okay. You're going to be that way? Well, I'm going to put this up and I'm going to,
the curtain.
Bye. Yeah. I think that reminds me of one time, not here in San Francisco, but in Ohio, I worked at a grocery store and I worked in the bakery department.
Sorry, I just thought about that. What is it? The I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah.
The Kroger version?
Yeah. Butter, it's not. like, how did they get away with that? Butter, comma,
because
it's not.
Because it's not, I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah, but it's right next to the I can't believe it's not butter.
And it's probably cheaper.
Yeah, it is. and you read it, like, you go, like, to Kroger and you read it and it's like, I can't believe it's not butter. And then next to it, butter, it's not.
I love it. And I love the, like, flipping of, like, grammatical structure.
Yeah. Like, the person in the boardroom's like, $1 million
I got
idea.
it. And everyone was like...
No, but... Like, when I was working there used to be this older man who would come up to me and he would, like, say very sexual things and, like, a joke. It was like a joke, but it was like a sexual joke.
It's always a joke.
Yeah, he's like something about, like, apples. You'd always say, like, apples and you'd go like this and he'd say something else to be like the butt. So he'd, like, talk about boobs and, like, the ass to me. And I remember one time, because I think I heard him say it to some other woman. And then I recognized him and then he started doing the same thing to me. And I literally, like, it was the first time that I actually had ownership over like a reaction.
Yeah.
I feel like, because some of the times I'd be like, ha, like laugh it off.
Right.
As a defense.
Yeah.
As like a please get away from me. I don't want to have this conversation anymore, but I'm too uncomfortable to confront you because I shouldn't have to.
Right.
Because you're the one that's actually coming to me with this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was just like, I asked him to repeat it. And I asked him to say like, because I feel like if you ask them to repeat it to you over and over again, they get uncomfortable.
Right.
Because they realize like what they're actually saying.
Yeah.
And then they get embarrassed. And that's what happened to him. He like said it like twice, 3 times. I was like, I'm sorry, I don't really understand. What are you saying? And then he gave up.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he left. I was like, that's right. Like, don't come to me with that bullshit.
Yeah. That's how I felt this time. Because the first time when I talked to him in person, I didn't say anything. I just kind of like dealt with it. Which I feel like a lot of people do with that kind of stuff, unfortunately. I just kind of like dealt with it. Because I feel like maybe I told you about him before. Because he also like put his hand on my shoulder.
Oh, God, that's the hand guy?
Oh. That's the hand guy. Yeah, when he put his hand... And I didn't do anything then either. So I was like, I'm not putting up... Like, I was like, I am not... Like, I'm like beyond... Like, I'm just so like stressed out all the time. I'm like, I'm beyond like putting up with anything that I don't deserve to put up with.
Exactly. You shouldn't have to.
So I was like, don't say those fucking things to me.
I'm so glad you did that. And I'm so glad you said that because I feel like people have to hear it. Mm-hmm. Like the woman who called and I said we were out. I said we couldn't take special orders or something and I couldn't hear her. Mm-hmm. And this was like the peak pandemic. Yeah. So like April last year. Yeah. Like right after we shut down. Yeah. So it was like right around then and like we didn't have anybody at the counter because we still don't.
That's, that's life.
And I think, like, she was saying something about, like, she was, like, trying to say, and I was like, sorry, I can't really hear you. It's really loud here. Like, and then I think I said something about stress, like, around the workplace or whatever. Like, there's stressful things going around me, so, like, it's hard to hear you. And then she's like, if you can't handle stress, then you shouldn't have a job.
Period. She's full up was like, people who can't handle stress don't deserve jobs at all.
And I was like, I wasn't even like saying that I couldn't handle what she was saying. Yeah. And like she just went immediately there and she kept talking over me and I was like, ma'am. And I kept saying like, ma'am. And I was like, what did you say to me? And then she like hung up and I was like, that's right.
That's the worst because you should have hung up.
I know. But I was trying to like cut her off a little bit and like try to like, it just throws you off. It throws you off because like.
Well, yeah, I had to like. When those things happen, there's like a second where I have to like readjust and like snap into a different mindset because it's like, I handle like every interaction at work with a customer with the same like customer service mentality. But it's like then when that shit happens, it's like a jarring like halt and then like fast shift into like a different communication and like mental space.
Yeah, because you have to defend yourself because I think it is trauma. Yeah. What we're experiencing.
We're being harassed and like people think that they can just harass you.
Because they're like, oh,
we're
you're
subservient.
Service. Yeah.
Because we're public servants.
We're public servants. Oh, during the pandemic.
I mean.
Yes. True story. But I think that it is a version of abuse. Yeah. If you look at it. Like from a psychological standpoint. So we are facing microaggressions from people on a daily basis and a micro abuse, right? Sometimes even more abuse. Sometimes physical, sometimes like definitely emotional and definitely mental. And this kind of job, if you look at people who've been in this industry for 20, 30, 40 years, I'm not saying everybody. Like I'm not saying everybody because people are unique and there are people that have been in these businesses who are great people and like they still have a spark in their life and
somehow
and some people like actually prefer this line of work. So I'm not saying that for everybody. I'm saying for me, my experience, what I've seen and who I've dealt with personally on a personal level in this business, that if they're in it for 15 to 20 years or 25 plus, that they get so bitter. Yeah. They get so bitter and they cope. Yeah. They cope with like, things to distract themselves, things that like to take away that pain that they have to feel every day from being treated like they're not human. And what I'm trying to say from all this is like, I think it's really important to share stories and like talk about it. And it's good to vent. It's good to like communicate that. And it's not anyone's fault for wanting to talk about it. Like, it's not like you're a bad person because you complain about this kind of stuff. You should complain about this kind of stuff.
You need to get it out.
Yeah. And
stand up for yourself, no matter what. It doesn't matter what your fucking job is. If a person is harassing you and making you feel uncomfortable, you have the right to stand up for yourself and to leave the situation.
Absolutely.
No matter what anyone's... And if your employer pushes back on that, then you're probably not at a good job. Just saying.
Yeah. And you should, like... Because you're worth it, and, like, you're more worthy than that kind of treatment.
Yeah.
Like...
What an inspirational start to the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my second beer.
Yeah.
We'll see you after this commercial break.
Bye.
And I'll edit like a boop, and then I'll cut to the next part.
It'd be like a bomb, like the bomb shelter, and like the
alert.
Yeah.
There's probably a bomb somewhere in the city, right? Like, like not activated, but like. And as per usual, our weekly NIER check-in.
Yes.
We probably talked about it last week, but since that footage is gone, why don't you tell the people where you're at and what do you like about it so far?
So I'm in the first part because I know there's 2 parts to it.
Yes.
So
sort of.
part 1, part 2, yeah, and there's micro parts.
Micro parts. There's a micro pig.
Yeah.
There are pigs.
Yeah, I saw the actual pigs. I was like, I hope I don't have to kill those things.
You don't. They're so cute.
Yes, good.
Yes. I'm like, no spoilers, but you don't have to kill the pigs.
Oh, thank God. I thought there was gonna be like a side mission or like a side quest that made me kill
Make
pigs.
bacon.
Yeah, I need bacon for my bar. Can you give me some bacon? And like the side quest starts.
And you're like, no!
I don't want to. There is a side quest that I have to kill sheep. Anyway.
So sad because they're so cute.
I hate that. I hate when you have to kill animals in games. But I think, yeah, I am. So I'm in part 1. I think I'm actually towards the end of, like near the end of part. Near. The part of end 1.
End 1.
The end of part 1. The words. And I am trying to take care of my sister still. She's still at the house. Yeah. I'm trying.
Like, don't you fucking get out of that bed, Yona.
Fucking move. And I got my book. I got Weiss.
Grimoire Weiss.
Yes, I got him. I love him.
He's the best.
Yeah, he adds a bit of that comedy you need, that pizzazz.
And all that jazz.
He's a gentleman.
He is a gentleman.
Yeah.
He's like...
He courts me. Just like always behind my back. Just like...
Watches you sleep.
That's the sound he makes.
Dude, I wish you could... Somebody should, like, mod it so that it's just, like, cheap sound effects instead of the sound effects programmed into the game.
Yeah. When you're rolling, when you're barrel rolling. Like, boom, boom.
When you're, like, air dashing, it's like...
Anyway, so I'm still in part 1. I think I got to the part where you're at the junk heap.
Yep.
And you have to... You always know in a game when you go... Like, you talk to people, right? And they give you, like, a side quest. Mm-hmm. And then in the background, they talk about something else.
Right.
Like, these 2 characters in this scrap heap, junk heap, one of them, either way, they're like, oh, like, NIER walks into the bar. Not bar, but... It sounds like a really bad joke,
right?
Too. NIER walks into the bar.
NIER and a floating book walk into a bar.
A floating book?
Actually, it happens more times in the game than you would think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just...
There are side quests at bars.
Yeah, I got my first one. Anyway, so you walk into that area where you want to synthesize your weapon.
Yes.
And get them to do that for you. And there's like 2 brothers behind the counter. And one of them is like, where's Mom? I miss Mom.
I miss Mom. I'm a kid. I'm a fucking stupid, annoying little kid.
Where's Mommy? Right away, I was like, oh, she's dead.
You always know.
You always know. Whenever they're like, I miss something.
I'm like, oh.
And like, they've been gone for 4 weeks. She's definitely dead. But I did that side quest, the first one they gave me, which was just like go into the scrap heap, junk heap thing, fight all the robots, and then get that part or get the parts from them. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards I go back to them and, synthesize the weapon, get the weapon upgrade.
Yep.
And they're like, and then I'm going to have to offer to find their dead mother. And I'm like...
Lo and behold.
And they're like, do you really think you can find her? And I was like, probably not.
Find something.
Find some parts.
An arm.
I'm like, here's your mom. Say hi. Happy Mother's Day, by the way.
She's dead.
She's dead. But Yeah, so I know that's going to happen. So I don't have to actually be told that. I mean, you've played that part already.
Right,
so,
I have.
So I don't need to be told that she's dead. Because I already know it. She's dead.
She's dead.
She's dead.
Rest in peace.
Walk up to a coffin. She's dead.
Oh my God, she's
Walk
dead. You're like, gotta wait.
They're like, everyone else is like, yeah, that's why we're here.
No shit. You're like, oh man, she's dead. You like close the coffin. It's awake. You're just like,
go up to it, like check for the pulse. I'm just like,
oh no,
not
doesn't
there.
look good, guys.
Not there.
They're like, we know.
We know.
That's why we're here.
That's your sister.
You're like so traumatized you don't even register. Oh my God.
You're like, she's not looking so good. She looks tired.
She looks hey, you look really tired.
Maybe you should sleep forever. That's my send-off.
Yeah, the junk heap is my least favorite part of the game. I just think it's like really boring and monotonous.
Yeah.
You're just like running around some tunnels, fighting some robots.
Yeah.
It sounds cool, but it's not.
Oh, the music in NIER, it just makes everything that's like monotonous or everything that's like you just walking around thematic.
Oh, yeah.
It makes it like a movie. Like
Absolutely.
the soundtrack is so... Yeah, I'll just be barrel rolling because I can never just walk in a game.
Mm-mm.
I have to either run or just barrel roll.
Well, especially
speed
in
up.
NIER, because like when you're playing as younger NIER, his actions are so fast that it's like running. Like, why would you run when you can literally just dodge roll everywhere?
Yeah.
And like zoom.
That's what I do.
And that's what I do too.
So.
Not a sponsor.
Definitely a sponsor.
This just cuts and it's like me in a car, like
you're calling somebody, you're like,
using
hey.
the like in-car phone. Remember when that was the thing?
Yeah, that was the cutting edge.
Like like an actual phone.
Yes,
I
yes.
remember my best friend growing up, her mom had like a Lexus or something, and like it had one of those like handheld phones in the car, and I was like,
did you call 911 in the
No.
car on the like en route?
buddy's going into my equipment bag.
Oh, you better not have anything good in there.
Oh, he
No,
knew.
he knew.
He knew
heard
it's
you.
just my masks.
Yeah.
He was like, ooh, stinky breath.
He's like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
He's like, he licks his own butthole, but like stinky breath is like too much.
He's like,
No.
but yeah, junk heap is pretty. Oh, like Buddy's outside now.
So I have to watch occasionally.
Yeah, Buddy, I'll bring him on later because I brought him on in the episode that I deleted. The cat, my best friend,
My only friend.
my only friend,
We're not friends.
and he hates me.
Oh no, he loves you. He loves you. Anyway, junk heap is your least favorite part.
Yeah, but I did forget because, like I mentioned before, I've played Replicant before. I forgot how much I like playing as older NIER. Because you get more weapon opportunities. So you get the ability to use spears and heavy weapons. I never use heavy weapons. Because again, well, not again, because I talked about it in the episode that I deleted.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like a button masher, so I don't like heavy weapons.
Yeah, me neither, because you have to actually like go
Sit
back,
there.
block,
Right.
you know,
Sit there through the
dodge.
action, and it's just like, I always go for spears in NIER because they're really fast. You can buff them up with words. I got that plus 20% attack power on my Phoenix Spear right now.
Phoenix Spear, what a name.
Right?
Love that.
Best weapons in the game are the Phoenix ones, I think. I could be wrong, but I think they are. Because you can also level up the weapons at the junk heap eventually. Or actually, can you yet?
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
I can, but, I mean, no, do I have to find their dead mother first? No, I can actually do it now. I don't have to find they're finding their dead mother's optional.
You're like, I'll get to it when I get to it. They're like,
Like, but she's been gone for 4 weeks.
sounds like a personal problem.
Sounds like
You're a little bitch.
you can't handle stress well. Maybe you shouldn't have a
job.
mom. Maybe you shouldn't
Have a mom. Happy Mother's Day.
Maybe you should Happy Mother's Day. We love you, Mom.
But yeah, so I got the first ending and the second ending. There's 4. And I'm taking a pause now because for the last 2 endings you need to get every weapon in the game in order to be able to opt into getting the D ending, I think.
I want to get that D.
I want to get the D. It's been over a year.
Chop chop.
So I'm like taking a pause because it's like, once you get the first ending, you're gonna be like, oh man, I have to play all that stuff again. But it's like so much faster because you're still buff. It's like doing a new game plus. You're still buff,
Mm-hmm.
So like every boss fight takes like a minute, if that.
Oh, that's good. I
so
like
you
that.
you can. There's a reason why they made it so that you can skip dialogue and text really fast in the game.
Oh yeah, because I love doing that. I love like having like half sentences.
Yeah,
They're
because
like,
they say
"Hi."
more than words, so it'll be like, "Hi, but you,
Ooh,
the tower."
There's never. Oh, right away.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay.
Hey.
So that's nice because I think I got the A ending and then I got the B ending in probably 4 hours.
Okay, that gives me hope. I
Yeah.
feel like I like that because I like the option of like speeding through certain things because we work a lot
Yeah.
as a job because we're adults. We got to make money, so
Sadly.
I like just going through it. Chop chop.
Yeah, and it's nice because again, like you already know all that plot, and like you will recognize the added cutscenes because they add in the second ending. It's from Kaine's perspective, so like they added cutscenes that weren't in the original game, and there's also the added cutscenes of like Kaine's backstory and like Kaine's perspective on things and like all that stuff. There's added cutscenes about the Shade bosses. So it's like, you'll recognize, like, oh, I haven't seen this yet, so you can watch it and then just skip through everything else.
Love that. That's what I like.
Yeah. So
Okay,
it's, like, really quick, so you can actually get the endings pretty fast.
Okay, yeah, because I was worried about that. When you said, like, multiple endings, I was like, oh, buddy. Oh,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, it's not that much... Buddy.
He's in his throne.
It's not that much gameplay. I think it's, like, standard RPG length.
Okay, yeah.
In reality, if you're, like...
Should I try to beat NIER first before I play Resident Evil 8?
Yeah, I bet you could do it.
Okay.
Because again, like...
Because I don't want to start both.
Oh, God,
Because,
no.
like, I know that...
You want to be immersed in one or the other.
Yeah, especially they're very different.
They're very different.
And I want to... Because I'm really excited about Resident Evil, but I also know that that's a big game, and so is, like, NIER, like, getting all of the information and getting all the lore from it. Like, it's going to take me time, so, like, I don't want to devote... I've done that too many times.
Yeah.
I've been scarred by starting a game and then starting another big game, and then just, like, they all just kind of... I leave off.
And plus you said you're really liking NIER, so I think you should focus.
Yeah. I should focus. Come here. Focus. Skirt, skirt. What would happen if you took two binoculars and you like lined them up at each other and you looked through them? Would you be able to see like your inside of your eye, like the other person, or would it just be like, or would it just go out of focus?
That's a good question. Stay tuned for our next video where we do that.
It's like a bad MythBusters. it's like a myth that we created.
What would our MythBusters spinoff be called? Myth Mustard.
The Myth Mustard. Now I'm Myth Mustard.
It has nothing to do with mustard. I just like mustard, so I'm like Myth Mustard.
No, we could do it. We could do like a
Myth Mustard.
If you put mayonnaise and ketchup together, does it make a Thousand Island dressing?
Is that all that Thousand Island dressing is?
Yeah. Right?
Is it?
I thought it was mayonnaise, ketchup, and relish.
So did I. I mean, that would explain why it's orange.
Yeah, it's like
Thousand. Why is it called Thousand Island though?
to sound tropical and non-American. They're like, we need this to sound exotic and interesting.
It's an American salad dressing and condiment
Ooh,
based on
condiment.
mayonnaise.
Based
What does that mean? It's like a mayonnaise spinoff.
It's a spinoff based on the much-loved mayonnaise series. We got Thousand Island dressing this season. ABC. 8
Whoa.
p.m.
Listen to this.
I'm listening.
Can include olive oil,
Oh, already wrong.
lemon juice,
Wow.
orange juice,
Is that why it's orange?
paprika, Worcestershire sauce, mustard,
I'm wrong.
vinegar,
Chris,
cream,
I know I'm wrong.
chili sauce, tomato puree, and ketchup or Tabasco. Now, I don't know if that's like all of those things at once. That seems like a whole lot.
That seems like very intricate. That seems like a chef made it.
Right.
That's like a chef's Thousand Island. I'm talking like you're
Like you go to Kroger.
yeah, and you're like, get your butter. It's not. Get your jar of mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise.
Get your ketchup.
It says those are the main ingredients. And yet,
I've been wrong.
yet there's only 300
Sorry, guys.
calories per 2 teaspoons. That's a lot of calories.
Yeah, I never follow the recommended
God, no.
servings on like condiments.
No way.
I'm always like, and then I'm like, it's not enough. And it's probably I've already consumed like 500 calories worth of.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Salads are healthy, but it's the dressing that fucks you up.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do just like 2 tablespoons of dressing.
Like, what kind of psychopath, like...
Measures.
Sorry for people
that are psychopaths. What kind of person measures their salad dressing per the... A person who's dieting, probably.
Yeah, probably something very reasonable.
A person who actually is healthy.
Yeah, who like has standards and like has like boundaries and they like has goodwill.
Right.
They're like
I'm fit because I follow the nutritional recommendations for serving sizes, and I'm like,
whoosh.
And I'm like, so a whole 10-inch pizza by myself?
Does it count? Am I good still? And they're like, no. And you're like,
oh,
loser. You're like,
I hate you.
You don't know how to live life. What? Meanwhile, they're living life healthier.
Right, they're living a great life because they're healthy and feel good. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yeah, wow, I don't know what that feels like anymore.
Oh, me neither. I don't know what... Actually, the other night, because I went out to a gathering.
Oh my god, did you play Magic at this gathering?
Absolutely not. No, I did play Magic the Gathering. But it was an actual gathering, like a paper... Because Magic the Gathering has... It's a card game. So it's like Pokemon, but better.
But better.
But better.
More interesting.
And every Pokemon fans going...
They're like, oh!
Why?
We have thumbs down on this video, and it's all from Pokemon fans.
The first thumbs down. They're like, what'd you say about Pokemon? I'm like, I
feel like we're becoming a controversial podcast because all we do is kind of air grievances about the things we don't like in gaming.
That's true. I know we talk about things we do like. Soundtrack. Beauty. Hot men.
Oh.
Thousand Island Dressing.
Thousand Island Dressing Simulator.
Yeah.
It's just all those ingredients I read off and you have to make that.
But it's like a really bad like game where like you can't really get
it's
it.
Like the
physics are bad.
What was that? The like hand simulator game?
Yeah, where you had to like do the gun. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, where there were like items and you had to like.
Oh yeah.
And it would just be like.
Yeah. And you'd be like, oh, where moving is difficult.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love those games though.
No, me too. I actually have a cooking simulator. It's called Cooking Simulator, and it's very similar to that. And I do try to make things, and like
your hands are like rectangles.
Yeah, and I pour the olive oil, and it's like I do like this, and it's like, and it all comes out, and it gets all over the kitchen. I'm like, and then I like put it in the skillet, and I'm like, and then I pour it on the plate, and it's like, and I'm like, bon appetit.
Dinner is served.
Olive oil, a la mode. It's just raw olive oil.
I actually, hot take, I don't like olive oil that much. I think it's too...
Olive.
How do you say?
You're like, it tastes like olives.
Well, does it taste like... I know technically people describe it as being fruity. If you're like a chef.
Those are the same kind of people that can taste undertones in wine.
Oh, that should be its own video.
We should just do a wine tasting where it all tastes like wine. We're like, tastes like wine.
We should have done. So we tried sweet berry wine. We should have done that on a video.
We should have, because my expectations were so high.
And it was awful.
It was like wine. I was like,
it tastes like wine.
Tastes like wine.
What was I talking about?
Well, we were talking about the gathering.
Oh yeah, sorry. Go about.
You're okay.
Go about your business.
Go on a walkabout.
Go on, maiden.
Yeah. Thank you for giving me permission. But yeah, so it was like the first time that I met with people outside of my household, all vaccinated. So everyone was vaccinated, fully vaccinated. Waited the weeks until it took effect. So the CDC, guidelines, for everything. But yeah, it was so surreal going to another person's house. And there was like several people. Like there was like 6 people or 7 people there besides us. And like, I just, like the expectation, I came on with my mask on. Like I had my mask on. Everyone else had their mask off. And everyone was like, we don't need to do that. And like, I felt physically, I was like, oh, it's okay. I was like, it's all right. Weird. It's very strange. It was very refreshing though. I felt like, well, honestly, I was like, how do I socialize?
That's the question.
How do I go about conversations and then segueing it into more conversation? I was just like, yeah.
Lost it. I mean, I've lost it. I don't know. I'm losing my mind.
I'm losing my mind.
I had a very similar experience when I went out with our friend Katie a couple weeks ago. Why did you wink? Oh, because she might be watching.
Yeah, she might be watching.
I was like, why did you wink? I'm like, she has a boyfriend. It's not like it was like a date.
I'm like, no. I just like Katie. I love
fucking
Katie.
love Katie.
She's
This
amazing.
is the Katie podcast where I talk about how much I fucking love Katie.
We just have her at a shrine.
Yeah.
We should get a picture of her. Make sure she's okay with it first.
Right, of course. Literally after we intro the podcast talking about like consent and like positive things and like we're comfortability.
We're like, this is a picture of our friend.
Friend, we didn't ask her permission. Isn't she beautiful?
Gorgeous.
But yeah, we went out. We were hanging out at my house, and you know I have like a nice stoop, so we were sitting out on the stoop.
Love that stoop.
And then I, being the little chaotic Aries that I am, was like, should we go out?
Should we do something?
Because she and I are both vaccinated, past the 2 weeks, you know. And there's the bar next to my house. I mean, you know where I live.
Oh, they have the best chicken wings in the city. I was going to say world, and I was like, probably not the world.
They do. And we did not have wings, unfortunately. We had Jell-O shots.
The other substance of
what? Yeah, this is what happened. So we went. We'd already been drinking, but like we were like, yeah, let's go. It's outside, so we weren't inside or anything. And we got our drinks, and we like walk up to like the front door. They have it set up so like the front door has like the menus on it, and then you walk in and you order at the counter.
Love that.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
It was great, and so we ordered, and we were like, should we get Jell-O shots? Because I feel like I was telling you, like when I told you like offline about this, I was like, I felt like a child, like because it felt weird to be like out doing things that you're used to doing in public spaces with other people around.
Yeah, it almost feels like you're not supposed to, and someone's gonna come up to you and be like, no, that.
But they didn't, and so, but it still felt kind of weird. So I was like, I feel like I'm a teenager, or like I'm like under 21 or something, and I'm like going to a bar with a fake. So we were like, should we get Jell-O shots? Because we were like, ooh, and we did. And because I'm not in college anymore, I was like, I don't remember how to take Jell-O shots. She and I literally like just sucked them out of the like the 2-ounce sample cup. Yeah. We just like sucked them out, and there's like Jell-O stuck to it, and I forgot because like you're supposed to like go around the edge with your finger or like with something to loosen it, and then like. Yeah.
Well, at least you didn't like get a spoon out, and you weren't like in like little small like the smallest bites. You were like, I'm being naughty.
Oh,
naughty. And you're like.
But it was fun, and it was refreshing to do something different. Because, like, I've been drinking throughout the pandemic, but, like, I haven't gone out to a bar in over a year, so.
There's only a certain kind of, like, experience you can get from being at a bar, too. Do you feel like people are like, you said you felt like a child again. Like, yeah. I feel like people are relearning how to, like, talk, speak, socialize, all those things. Mm-hmm. It almost made it a little fairer for people that suffer with social awkwardness. I'm like, fuck you. I'm like, not you. Me.
Oh, just in general.
Okay.
Oh. Speaking of social awkwardness.
Someone speaking truths.
Spitting the facts, as per usual. Mm-hmm. But it was nice, and I'm excited to go back to being able to do those things, because you're right. There's only a certain, like being at a bar is an experience. Yeah. And, like, I like that experience personally. Mm-hmm. Like, that, I know a lot of people who are like, like, I'm fine on bars. But I'm like, I like going out to bars. I like being around other people drinking and, like, having fun. And, like, it's loud. Like, I actually kind of like that, despite being introverted. Like, it's like, stimulating in a good way.
Do you feel like it gives you, like, kind of, like, a cushion? Yeah. To, like, say what you want to say? Because it's, like, loud and everyone's talking. Like, you can pretty much do and say
I can do whatever I want.
Yeah. And then not be noticed, because I'm not saying you're not noticeable at a bar. I'm not saying
I've definitely been made myself notice at a bar before.
Of course, but what I'm saying is, like, maybe it's like some sort of like blanket where you're like protected a little bit.
Because, like, everyone around you, like, everyone is shouting. Like, I shout all the time as my, like, normal. That's why the microphone is closer to Mary. Because I shout, like, as a normal talking voice. Mm-hmm. So it's, like, nice to be around, like, everyone is shouting. So it's, like, because I feel like like, I'm not, like, I don't really, like, I'll just talk, like, I know I'm loud and I know people can hear what I'm saying, so it's like I've gotten used to that and I don't filter myself, but it is nice being in a space, I think, where I'm loud, but, like, so is everyone else.
Yeah, so it feels a little, like, welcoming.
Yeah, because I don't feel like everyone's like,
he's talking so loud at a bar. Shh. It's like a library.
that would be so bad. Can you imagine, like, you're taught, like, someone has to tell you to be quiet at a bar? That would be so
that's another
bad.
Peak. That's peak. That's like, okay, there's a problem there.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened. I've definitely been at bars, like, early when it's like quiet and it's like kind of weird.
Yeah, I've definitely
and then
been
I'm
to bar.
self-conscious. I'm even more self-conscious because I'm like,
because most times at the bars, like, I've probably had my most intimate conversations at bars. So like when it's super quiet,
you're like,
and you're like, I was trying to like think of something, like some kind of story, but I'm like, I can't even.
I'm just like,
and then he fucked me.
And then he fucked me in the ass.
And then everyone's like, the bartender's like, I've heard it all. The bartender's like, I don't care. But then like the two other people in the corner are like, why I never
I've been fucked in the ass.
Yeah, I've come here for a gin and tonic, and what I've gotten is
fucked in the ass.
in the ass. No.
Woo!
Definitely those experiences.
Did I ever tell you about the time that Dominique and I don't know if she wants me to say her name on the podcast. I can bleep it out if she.
Yeah, you can bleep it out.
Where Dominique and I skipped out on the bill.
Yes, that person.
I know. I'm like, I don't know if she. And then I keep saying her name.
Just say person. You know a person.
That person.
That person.
That person.
Ooh, doo, doo. Walking down the street being a person.
Love that person. Yeah, that person and I were at a bar, and we skipped out on the bill.
You told me that. No, I remember because I was at work and you two were walking by and you ran up to me and I was like, something's going on. And then you explained the story and I was like, that's a night. That's
I
something.
totally forgot because we have to walk past where Mary works on our way home to the apartment that me and this person live in. I forgot about that.
Oh, I didn't. I was like leaving for...
You're you're getting picked up, I think.
Yeah, I was getting picked up by a stranger. That's my nightly thing. I like to be picked up by strangers.
A random guy every night.
I'm like, speaking of bars, no, yeah, I remember you saying that, and I was like, and I don't even think, like, I think, were you still buzzed?
Oh, I was still drunk.
Yeah,
we sung the entire Wicked soundtrack on the way home.
Love that. You guys are my people for that. Forever.
I was still super drunk.
Forever. But I could tell, because I don't think I've really seen you that drunk, usually ever.
That was probably the drunkest you've seen me.
Yeah. So
Which, like, I'm not saying I was, like, blackout or, it's just, like...
You were just, like, laying on the pavement, and I was like, you all right there, Chris?
And I'm like,
what? And I'm like, and you're like, I'm a criminal. I skipped out on the bill.
That's how I felt, because we like skipped out on the bill and then we like ran.
What if someone's watching this and like they work at that bar and they're like, I remember that guy. Get him.
I feel like I don't feel bad, but I feel a little bit bad because like obviously like I want to treat service workers with respect as a service worker. But that guy was an asshole. He deserved it. He didn't deserve our tips. I will never do it again. I promise. Wink wonk.
The tip police is gonna like the
woo woo. But yeah, and like we because she and I knew we were doing something bad, so we ran like down Geary to the Jack in the Box and got Jack in the Box.
Oh, you were drunk. Okay,
that's how like you know.
You just had to say Jack in the Box, which I've never had because I haven't had most fast foods. I've never had Jack in the Box. I've never had
curly fries.
I've never had Taco Bell.
I don't care about fast food really, except Jack in the Box.
Yeah, I mean, I've asked someone before. I was like, "What is Jack in the Box?"
Is this like your version of movies to me?
Yes, like I have not tried most fast food ever, or like soft drinks, or pop as I call it, or soda as some heathens call it.
At least neither of us are from parts of the South where they call every soda a Coke.
Yeah, that's true. It's like, can I get a Coke?
Alienating everyone on this episode.
Can you imagine a waitress or a waiter that's like trying to get an order and they're like, what do you want to drink? And they're like not from the they're like a Coke, and they bring them a Coke. They bring them a Coca-Cola and they're like, this is what I wanted. I wanted a Coke. and they don't know how to explain it.
Oh my God. Anyway. Yeah, so that's how you know we were, like, really drunk. It's A, because we ran. And B, because we ran to Jack in the Box at, like, midnight.
Literally run into the door, like, we need sustenance.
Yeah, like, it was fun.
Oh, I could tell it was fun.
I think I was like, is that Mary?
Like, me just getting off work, like, shrugging off the day of, like, working, like,
right.
just going, like, brr.
And I'm drunk, like, full of Jack in the Box, just saying the entire Wicked soundtrack
and you're,
on
like,
the walk.
on a high, and I'm like, you're like, woo, and I'm like, brr. And then you...
I was like, is that Mary?
Yeah, I remember you, like, and I was like, huh? Someone say
because
Mary?
Also there's, like, the store, like, the building is set back from the street by the parking lot, so it's, like, there was, like, a good, like, 300 feet between us.
Yeah. And, like, you said so much in such a small amount of time.
Of course I did.
That I can
imagine.
But, like, a story, too. It's like you encapsulated a story that I was not expecting.
You were just sitting there, like...
I was just like... I call the police. I'm like...
You're like, they didn't pay.
They didn't pay. And they went to Jack in the Box. That should be a crime.
I paid for Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way I couldn't have.
I get out my 1980s cell phone with the antenna. I'm like, boop, boop, boop. Citizen's arrest.
Yeah, you put me and Nika under citizen's arrest.
I don't have anything, so I have, like, the twist ties for, like, bakery.
From work.
I try to, like, wrap it around. I'm like, now don't move.
And I'm like...
You can easily get out of it. I'm like, don't move. There's a citizen's arrest. Please?
I'm like, you zip tie me to the fence.
Yeah. Criminal.
Everyone's trying to receive, and they're like, what's going on?
Is Mary making another citizen's arrest?
Oh, it's Thursday. It's time for Mary's citizen's arrest.
She's the mall cop of Haight Street. The power has gone to her head. I would never do that, by the way.
Me neither. No. I made that sound like I would, but I genuinely would never put anyone under citizen's arrest. I don't have the willpower.
What do you think? What is citizen's arrest? Like, thank you. Yeah, Google it. Because I'm curious. Like, is there actual rights that you, as a citizen, have to arrest another human being?
A citizen's arrest is an arrest made by a private citizen that is a person who is not acting as a sworn law enforcement official.
That's me.
But like...
Like, how nerdy do you sound? Like, how much of a nerd do you sound like?
Right, you're like
I'm making a
fucking narc.
Yeah, I'm making a citizen's arrest. You're doing
like,
things
imagine
I don't
trying
agree
to,
with.
like, citizens arrest someone in the city.
Yeah, and they have a knife.
Yeah,
and they're like gonna... I'm like, no.
I'm apprehending you.
I put you under citizen's arrest.
And they're like, oh, man.
Get in the jail, you criminal. It's like...
It's like the cart corral at work.
Get in. Please.
Please. I said the magic word.
I'm sorry. I would love to see a citizen's arrest done in front of me.
Right?
Oh, my God.
Because then I could talk about it and be like, I saw
it happen. Do you think
they're coming?
Can we ask, like, people we know if they've ever made a citizen's arrest?
Yeah, leave a comment if you've ever either performed a citizen's arrest or witnessed a citizen's arrest,
or been arrested by a citizen.
I'm surprised I haven't been arrested by a citizen.
Wow, why do you think that? Because you walk at a normal rate, and people that slow walk get offended that you walk around them.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't gotten a speeding ticket from a citizen because I walk so fast around them.
God,
or when they get mad.
Slow walkers. Why? Let's have a serious conversation.
Let's dig into that one on the next episode.
Let's talk about pet peeves on one of these episodes. Top 10 pet peeves.
Oh my God.
Because I was talking to someone today, the person that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to them, and a lot of our pet peeves aligned. Or like our top 3 pet peeves aligned with each other.
Yep.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like empowered.
You're buff.
And I went out and made a citizen's arrest.
Citizens arresting people for your pet peeves.
Yeah. I was like, you interrupted me, sir. Citizen's arrest.
Can you be arrested by a sworn-in law official for performing too many citizens arrests unjustly.
They're like, you're a con. We're gonna arrest you.
How the tables have turned.
Like, they call you a brown nose. They're like, you brown nose.
You brown nose, and I'm like, oh.
I just want to be a cop.
Woo. Well, on that note, that was a very speaking of refreshing. That was a refreshing episode. We talked about games for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to counterbalance the gaming because it is part of our lives and just being human.
Yeah, but also we have lives outside of games.
Yeah, and I'm sure people that are watching like don't necessarily know everything about games that we're talking about, so it's like kind of out of the loop for you potentially. So this kind of brings you back into the loop. Maybe it's relatable, more relatable. Yeah.
Yeah, just like, oh, my screen went dark. I promise I won't delete this episode. It wasn't my fault though. I keep saying it as if I like did it.
You're like, that's not good. You're like, deleted it. You're like married accidentally. You went to your
Mary,
phone.
we haven't been recording.
Oh.
We have, but I'm just like, I lied to you. I'm like, oh, I forgot to hit record.
Oops.
Delete.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah. So we'll be back next week. We always come back. This is consistent and reliable content.
Oh yeah, super reliable.
Anyway, bye.
Bye.